seasoned in the word. But I'm going to start by saying, start off with some scriptures if you would like to write them down. I already have mine written down so I can run through them. Matthew 5:5 says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Psalms 37:11 says, "But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." If you Google the word meek, it'll show the definition saying, meek is showing patience and humility, easily imposed on, submissive. Isn't that us? We always get trampled on. That's our life story. We always get trampled on. Somebody's always using us, or we're always trying to be helpful, and somebody take the help to the limit, and they push it past that. So my question to you today is, did you lose sight of why you suffer in the body of Christ? Everybody gives a word of encouragement. They give their word of insight that you're going to have these many houses and land. But did you lose sight of why we suffer for Christ? The book of 1 Peter deals with the suffering of Christians. So if you ever wonder, take a look at that book of Peter, the first chapter. 1 Peter 2:21 says, "To this you were called because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his steps." Philippians 1:29 says, "For to you it has been granted on behalf of Christ not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for his sake." So that doesn't leave us out of suffering, does it? No. Okay. Open the Bible to 1 Peter 4:12 if you're ready. I'm going to read 12 and 13. 1 Peter 4:12 and 13. "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials which is to try you, as though some strange thing has happened to you. But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be also with exceeding joy." Now people will tell you, "I want my stuff right now." And the Bible speaks to people that way. He said they're going to get their glory right here where they are. So if we're suffering, that means we got a piece of the pie in the sky. So don't doubt that the word is not true. For David constantly cried out to God to deliver him from his enemies. Isaiah the prophet was killed and said to be sawed in two. Paul the apostle encountered being shipwrecked 3 times. He had perils of robbers, perils of his own countrymen. Don't we have that with our friends and family members? They come steal, they do anything to us. He had sleeplessness, he had hunger, he had thirst. His fasting was always pushed to him. He didn't have to decide to fast. It was always upon him because he always had a suffering. Are we both sufferers, or are we ashamed? The Bible speaks on us not being ashamed to suffer for his sake. For in as much praise, is much deliverance. 1 Peter 4:16, it says, "Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf." And 19 says, "Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful creator." Wealth is not a condemned thing. We read in Genesis, Abraham had great wealth, and Job was blessed with great wealth twice. Job was blessed with more material things than possible. He's more of an example to us than anyone because he was the one to lose everything, and then God brought it back. But you got to keep in mind, Job had to wait at least 40 years. Some of us are waiting forever. And sometimes God don't want to bless us with things because we become haughty-hearted. Even the wealthy they don't have fun spending their money, because we, as the poor, believe that once you become a business person, that, okay, you don't have to work no more. The Bible says that a man that doesn't work, he doesn't eat. And it doesn't matter what you provide. If you don't work a 9 to 5, you have to put your hands to something. Put your hands to, if you could sew, do that. If you could do hair, do that. Eyelashes, do that. You have to be able to provide for yourself. And then the things that you can't provide, God will provide that ram in the bush. But even though wealth might be evidence of God's blessing, believers are not to trust in it. Proverbs, Jeremiah, James, and 1 Timothy all teach that the believers should not trust in wealth, but trust in God. Don't we fall short in trusting in the wealth that we get from God and get so sad when he take it away? But we are not supposed to be trusting in the things of this world. We're supposed to be trusting in the Creator. How are you edifying yourselves to muffle your suffering? People want to know that you're suffering. People want to know that you're going through something and you still put your makeup on and get your hair done and go shopping. People want to know these things. They don't want to hear all these glossied up stories and all these made up stories. God is so good and God is so great. Everyone knows that God is great. Matter of fact, faith is just believing in God. Anyone that, the Bible tells you if faith is of a mustard seed, why are you trying to be so grand and have faith of a mountain? The Bible gave you the minimum. Sometimes we as Christians, we try to show out. So, we got to stop, trying to build ourselves up on stealing from the poor and doing fraudulent activity. Because yes, we can have wealth, but the Bible, and even in the Old Testament, he condemned those that got wealth through stealing from the poor and using fraudulent activities to get it. Now you got your business and you wealthy. Nobody's going to make you shame. Give your spirit over to Christ. Find you some work to make ends meet. Then remember that the God you serve is more than money, more than wealth. He is the creator himself. So let's create your atmosphere. That is all. Amen.